What's going on, everyone? This is me, PB Talks, in an absolutely sad state of affairs for what I am wearing now in Indian football is in total disarray. Put whatever adjectives you want, and it won't probably justify the position that we Indian football fans are feeling right now. I mean, you can go through any type of low you can think of. You cannot win a single game, lose all your games, um, not win a game in probably 2 or 3 years, finish bottom of your group, getting embarrassed in big tournaments, getting relegated. All these things are there, and this is and these are, by the way, just footballing terms, and like in terms of on the field results. But what has happened today, just it just takes the cherry on top. FIFA has banned Indian football. Yeah. Let me say that again. Let me repeat myself. Let me stress myself even more. FIFA has banned Indian football. Yeah. In a saga that has been going on for days and days, starting from FIFA's roadmap, given that was not implemented by AIFF, to Praful Patel delaying elections, not having elections at all, and then Supreme Court had to kick him out. Kushal Das had to be kicked out, and COA had to be formed. And Supreme Court, they appointed a COA, Committee of Administrators, and they demanded that the elections had to be had sooner, else Indian football would get a ban. And unfortunately, this is what we have come to. Do make sure to smash the like button. Do make sure to subscribe to PP Talks for more content like this. But where do you even begin? I mean, we have been called a sleeping giant, quote unquote, by many people. And when you think, okay, maybe one step here, maybe one step there, maybe we try to do something. It's Indian football over the past few years has been like one step forward, but two steps back. We see the I-League that has been the main league of India for the past so many years. It was formed in 1996. It was formed in 2007. Before that, it was the NFL, the National Football League, from 96, I believe it was. Correct me in the comment section below. And I-League has been the pinnacle of Indian football. We have seen many big clubs like. You've seen JCT from Punjab. You've seen the Goan clubs, Salgaonkar, Dempo, Sporting Club Goa. Then we see the Kolkata Giants, Mohan Bagan, East Bengal, Mohammedan Sporting. And then we see other clubs who have won titles, the likes of Bengaluru FC, the likes of Punjab, the likes of Aizawl, Chennai City FC, etc. And then we also see the likes of Churchill Brothers. And these clubs are there. So many big clubs are there, but we never had like a proper 20-team league, so to say, like many other countries have. We had at best 11 or 12-team leagues, if I'm not mistaken. So AIFF, along with FSDL, Football Sports Development Limited, which if you actually break it down, it's actually football simply destroyed and looted from the fans, because they came in. They invested so much money into commercializing and marketing the game, created a whole new league altogether with the franchise system like the one they use in the United States, no relegation. And that is actually taken on to be the main league of India, pushing the I-League to the second division, which is why the likes of the Goan clubs had to pull off, citing that they were getting treated like shit by the AIFF. They're not being respected of. I mean, those are big clubs. I mean, Dempo they have the most I-League titles. They have 5 I-League titles, and they've gone deep into AFC competitions. And when they pull out, citing that they've been treated like shit, you have to realize the depth of the situation. But somehow I-League was still going on, and ISL started as like a 40-day tournament too, like on just 1 month sort of thing for the first 2 years, and then it became a proper league with 10 teams, now home and away. Now it's obviously 11 teams. And I-League has effectively been brought down to the second division, and then obviously you have the I-League second division after that. And even afterwards, like when I-League was there, we see Indian teams going deep into AFC Cup competitions. I mean, Bengaluru, their best performance in AFC Cup was when they were in the I-League. 2016, we lost in the final. And before that, we were going to semi-finals and all those sort of things. And after that, we barely crossed the group stage, and first knockout round, we get kicked out. We get hammered. And that's been the sad state of affairs. But those are like, say, on-field perspectives, so to say. But this, I'll share an article by KL Now. Big up KL Now. It's an absolutely fantastic website. You can go there for all things Indian football. Why getting a FIFA ban would be troublesome for Indian football. Goes on to say many things. So, just hours after India celebrated its 75th Independence Day, FIFA in a late night order suspended the AIFF with immediate effect due to third-party influence. The third party obviously being FSDL. Let's go on. Indian football has been flirting with a FIFA ban for some time now. After Praful Patel's reign as AIFF president lapsed in December 2020, the Honorable Supreme Court pushed him out of the office, or rather kicked him out of the office, and formed a committee of administrators to run Indian football. The COA had been tasked with forming a draft constitution that will ensure fresh elections as possible. However, the tussle between state federations, COA, and the Supreme Court has been going on for some time. First goes on to talk about I-League clubs and their troubles. FIFA and AFC had sent a delegation to India in June this year, which was like 3 months ago, to formalize a roadmap that will prevent such a ban. In a judgment made on 3rd August, which was 2 weeks ago, Supreme Court decided to form an interim body that would decided by voting committee of 36 former footballers who have played for India, obviously. This, according to FIFA, is a deviation from a roadmap that was finalized. As per the roadmap, the AIFF was to call for special General Assembly in the first week of August 2022 to approve new statutes worked upon with FIFA, AFC, and the Indian football community. Unfortunately, we have been informed that the Supreme Court's hearing on August 3rd on the situation resulted in deviations from the aforementioned roadmap. If this is true, it would irrefutably jeopardize the mutual understanding which was displayed so far on the steps forward. However, the Supreme Court has also issued in an order to ensure that elections must take place before September 15th. Today, August 16th, so it is given, there's a month more. This is in line with the FIFA roadmap. It remains to be seen it pans out. Now, let us look at the several aspects that will be affected if they impose a ban on India, which they have done. This goes back not just to this one, not just to the FIFA's roadmap for elections. This even goes way back to a roadmap that FIFA and AFC had provided in the AIFF, that we should have a proper league, proper promotion, relegation, just one cup, that's the one like knockout cup tournament. Of course, we did have the Federation Cup before, but that was kicked out. I don't know why. The Super Cup was brought in. That happened for 1 or 2 years at best, and after that, that fizzled out. Like even the Durand Cup, Asia's oldest tournament, that went under the radar for the past few years. Obviously, last 2 years it has happened, and now this year, AIFF and I think it's like FIFA and AFC have put a rule that all teams have to play at least 27 games to be in accordance with AFC competitions. Last 2-3 years we have been exempt from it, but this year there are no excuses. Every team has to play 27 games minimum, which includes the Durand Cup, of course the league seasons, and the Super Cup that will follow after that. So there's been so much fuckery going around, and we fans have been trying to raise our voices for a while, and Praful Patel has just gone about his merry way. And it's a different thing when you're just president of AIFF That man is actually a politician. He was actually an MP. He spent more time being an MP rather than being on AIFF and taking care of things happening here. And that goes even for the secretary, Mr. Kushal Das. I mean, there was one. I think it is definitely true because I read a piece where I think he went into a meeting, an official AIFF meeting, in a drunk state, and the meeting had to be cancelled. I mean, that says all you need to know about how seriously these idiots take Indian football. And on-field results, we can actually see on-field results, planning and all, like having preparatory camps, having friendlies. That's a different thing altogether. I mean, those we can actually blame. We can actually blame the on-field performances, results, the coach, the players in some aspects, and the lack of proper planning, because we hardly play. We play like 20 league games in a season, when in reality we should be playing at least 30 to 40. I mean, if you don't play 40 to 50 games in a season, we're going to be fit when you play big international tournaments, like in India's case when we play the AFC Asian Cup, or what we possibly want to qualify for the FIFA World Cup. And now this ban will affect clubs in a big way. Let's carry on with the KNO article. Club football is the spine of football systems across the world. It's no different here in India. Different debates how clubs and leagues can be performed. Indian clubs, the ISL, I-League and the IWL, obviously in Indian Women Leagues, clubs compete to win national titles. Following this, they earn a place to compete against the clubs in the Asian competitions. Once a ban is imposed, the West Indian clubs will not be able to compete in Asia. This will be a huge blow for all Indian clubs, if not the most brutal one. Speaking of which, Gokulam Kerala, the current IWL champion, traveled to Uzbekistan not so long ago to take part in the Asian competition. Will they still be allowed to take part given that FIFA's banned India now? I hope that's not the case, because Gokulam Kerala has been doing well in the Indian football circuit. They have won the men's I-League. Now in IWL also they're doing well. They are keeping India's pride a bit high. And I don't want to see the women's team that have gone there, traveled all the way to Uzbekistan to take part in the competition, be just thrown out because it's none of their fault, to be fair. Let's continue with the leagues. So the leagues will continue to exist as they function under AIFF's umbrella, not FIFA and AFC. However, the leagues will lose representation to Asia's top teams or tournaments. Currently, 3 men's teams and 1 women's team represent India in Asian competitions. So that's the breakdown. So 1 Indian team is in the AFC group stage. 1 Indian team is the ISL League Shield winners, that is. The I-League League winners, they go to the AFC Cup group stage. The ISL Knockout Cup winners, which is the playoff winners, they go to the AFC Cup playoff round. And obviously the IWL winners, they go to the AFC Cup women's format. So that's the current format that has been happening. So these are the big timeline of Indian of events that have gone around. Obviously, there have been countless meetings held, and decisions have been trying to taken that somehow that we don't get a ban after all this fuckery has gone around. And yes, we just qualified for the AFC Asian Cup 2023 that is supposed to be held in China. We won't be able to play in that. The biggest, let me repeat, the biggest hit would be for the India Women's Under-17, because India is hosting the Under-17 Women's World Cup that is going to be held later this year. This will be the biggest hit that will be taken by Indian football if this ban still holds, if the elections are not held as soon as possible. And even the FIFA 2026 World Cup qualifiers that are going to be held starting October next year, we won't be able to perform in that. Even foreign signings, we cannot make any extra foreign signings. We would just have to make peace with what we have currently. It's so much fuckery going around, and I just cannot comprehend what has just gone around. And we just hope and we pray that all of this comes to an end and we're able to give the players a chance to go and perform at the world stage, because the women's team, the under-17s team, out of no fault of theirs, should not be kicked out, should not be made ineligible to participate in this tournament. Because we all know, as Indians, especially the football players, the women's football players, how they struggle, how they come from. Many people come from background, like from poor family backgrounds. They make it all the way up there. They strive hard, they work hard, they sacrifice so many things. And when you make it to the big stage, and when the officials, the top authorities, they don't give a flying fuck and they just go about doing their random shit. And if the lower, and it's ultimately the lower ones, those who are punished for that. If something happens at the top, it filters all the way down to the bottom, which is what exactly is happening here. And even when it comes to club competitions, it remains to be seen whether the Gokulam Kerala women's team will be still participating in the Asian club competition. Of course, ATK and Mohammedan, they have qualified for the interzonal semi-finals of the AFC Cup 2022. Will they still be participating in that? Or will the team they play get a straight bye? That remains to be seen. So, this is probably a small gist of what has gone on. There's been so much that has gone on in the past few days, and I'll try to get some guests along to talk about the situation more. And it's a sad state of affairs, and we can only hope and pray that this gets better. This is a sincere Indian football fan from the United States praying that all of this comes to an end soon. And if you're new to this channel, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to subscribe to VB Talks, make sure to share this as much as possible to any Indian football fan out there that loves and watches the game of Indian football. And if as an Indian football fan, if you're not hurt by this, I don't know what will. Before I end this, I thought, if you think 1950 was bad, in the fact that the AIFF decided to skip the World Cup, giving more priority to the Olympics, as the great Sally Manna once said, he would have captained the Indian team if we were gone. If we would have hopped on the plane to Brazil. Brazil even offered to sponsor a trip for the World Cup, but the AIFF deemed the Olympics as more important compared to the World Cup. If that was embarrassing, I don't know. I don't know what to call this one. This is just taking the piss. I mean, we have been flirting with this for a while, and finally it's hit us hard. And you cannot do anything more than just you don't know whether to rant or cry in this situation. I mean, we're just tired of ranting about the authorities and how little they have cared for the sport so far, and how they have allowed FSDL to run Indian football completely, have complete control of whatever is going on at AIFF, because the top league now, ISL, is run by FSDL, and according to FIFA constitutions, the top league of a country should be run by its governing body. So ISL should be run by AIFF, but it's actually run by FSDL. It's only the I League and the I League second division that is run by the AIFF. So you can clearly see where the problems stem from. I have no problem with someone trying to commercialize and market and make a sport bigger, but they should not be involved in decisions like appointing coach, all the footballing decisions. You should have a football person to do that, and that's what it's been missing for a long while. We hope that this solves quite soon. Obviously, there's still 1 month for the elections to hold. Hopefully, we have it soon, and we can lift the ban and we can participate in these tournaments. I mean, we're talking about whether we can go probably deep in these tournaments. Now we're talking about whether we can even bloody participate in these tournaments. That's how peak the situation is at this point of time. So yeah, we can only hope it gets better. Pray for Indian football. That should be another hashtag that should be going around. Indian football forward together, or rather pray for Indian football. That should be the hashtag. That's it from me. And as I keep saying, the end of every single video, we're still in the midst of a COVID pandemic. So make sure, stay safe, wash them hands. Thank you, everyone. Catch you later in another video.